It's the 1960s. The world is buzzing with Beatlemania. The space race is heating up, and American families are beginning to crave something new in their driveways. Enter Chevrolet with a car they promised would revolutionize everything, the Corvair. It was daring, it was different, and it was doomed. Were all the acquisitions about this car true, or was it just a negative PR attack by some other competitor? Today, we're diving deep into the saga of the Chevy Corvair, a car that sparked innovation, controversy, and one heck of a legacy. Strap in, gearheads. This isn't just a ride, it's a roller coaster. Let's rewind to the late 1950s. Chevrolet, part of the giant General Motors family, was looking to shake things up. Post-war America had been obsessed with big, flashy cars, but by the end of the decade, things were changing. Smaller, nimbler vehicles like the Volkswagen Beetle were stealing the spotlight, and American automakers needed to adapt or be left in the dust. Enter the Corvair. Chevrolet wasn't just trying to build a compact car, they wanted to create a technological marvel. They ditched the standard front-engine, rear-wheel drive layout for something radical, a rear-mounted, air-cooled flat-six engine. This wasn't your average Chevy sedan, it was more like a little European sports car in disguise. And in 1959, when the Corvair hit the market for the 1960 model year, it turned heads like crazy. But what really set the Corvair apart? Well, it wasn't just an engine. Chevrolet took bold risks with its design. The Corvair had a clean, minimalist look, no big chrome fins or flashy grills here. Inside, it was roomy, functional, and futuristic. It promised everything: economy, style, and innovation. The American dream distilled into four wheels. The first generation Corvair rolled out as a lineup of coupes, sedans, and later wagons and pickups. Its heart was the air-cooled flat-six engine mounted in the rear, starting with a 2.3-liter version that made a modest 80 horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque. Not earth-shattering numbers, sure, but this car wasn't about brute force, it was about agility. And thanks to its rear-engine design, it had an impressive balance, well, most of the time. But why did Chevrolet bet so heavily on a car so different from anything else on American roads? Beyond just the sedans and coupes, Chevrolet really let their creative juices flow with the Corvair lineup. Take the Lakewood station wagon, for example. Introduced in 1961, it brought utility to the Corvair family. With its flat engine, the rear storage space was larger than you'd expect for a compact car, making it ideal for those 60s family road trips, or at least trips to the malt shop. And let's not forget the Corvair Greenbrier, a quirky van variant. With its forward control design, the driver practically sat over the front wheels, a layout reminiscent of VW's microbus. It wasn't just about passenger cars. The Corvair was trying to be a jack of all trades, from sporty cruisers to workhorse haulers. The Corvair's air-cooled engine didn't just save weight, it eliminated the need for a radiator, hoses, and coolant, a big plus for cost-conscious buyers. But with no radiator to fail, owners quickly realized they had one less thing to worry about. The engine design was borrowed from aircraft technology, giving the Corvair a modern, almost aviation-like vibe. But wait, there's more! The Corvair wasn't just innovative mechanically. It consisted of fully independent suspension system, a first for an American mass-market car. The ride was smooth, the handling tight, and it felt almost European on the road. Think of it as a Porsche 911 quirky cousin, only with a fraction of the price tag. Speaking of prices, the Corvair started at just $2,038 in 1960. Adjusted for inflation, that's about $21,000 today, a steal for something so ahead of its time. Of course, Chevrolet knew not everyone wanted a simple commuter car. For the thrill seekers, they introduced the Monza trim in 1961, which came with sporty bucket seats, a more powerful engine option, and a snazzy dashboard. And by 1962, they upped the standards with the Monza Spider, a turbocharged beauty cranking out 150 horsepower. That made it the first mass-produced American car to feature a turbocharged engine. Chevrolet wasn't just breaking rules, they were rewriting them. But all wasn't sunshine and turbocharged rainbows. Underneath all that innovation lay some design quirks that would come back to haunt the Corvair. And trust me, the ghosts of bad publicity are not easy to exorcise. Let's see what happened next. By the mid-1960s, Chevrolet was at a crossroads. The Corvair's initial success had given way to doubts and criticisms. But instead of backing down, Chevy doubled down. What came next was a car that wasn't just better, it was a full-on rebirth. In 1965, the Corvair got a glow-up. The second generation was sleeker, sexier, and smarter. Chevrolet addressed some of the first generation's criticisms, refining the suspension to improve stability. The car's handling was sharper than ever, and its new fastback roofline gave it a look that could make even James Bond jealous. The 1965 redesign wasn't just skin deep. Chevrolet introduced a fully independent rear suspension inspired by the Corvette Stingray. It was a game changer, offering a smoother ride and better cornering. The sleek new body design, with its longer, more aggressive lines, gave the Corvair a distinctly European feel. It was no longer just a quirky economy car. It looked like something that belonged on the Autobahn. Under the hood, or rather in the trunk, the engines got bigger and better. The base 2.7-liter flat six produced up to 110 horsepower, while the turbocharged Corsa model pushed out a whopping 180 horses. Top speed, around 110 miles per hour. That might not sound like much today, but in the mid-60s, it was enough to blow your pompadour off. And let's talk trims. The Corsa replaced the Monza Spider as the high-performance option, offering advanced instrumentation, a sporty interior, and even a 4-speed manual transmission. The Corvair even found its way into pop culture. It was featured in several Hollywood movies of the time, including Viva Las Vegas starring Elvis Presley. The car's futuristic vibe made it a favorite of forward-thinking directors and producers looking to capture the spirit of the 1960s. And let's not forget how many Corvairs cruised down main streets during Friday night car shows, looking stylish under neon lights. So what was it about the Corvair that turned it into a scapegoat for an entire industry? Cue the villain music. In 1965, consumer advocate Ralph Nader published Unsafe at Any Speed, a scathing takedown of the auto industry. His main target, the Corvair. Nader claimed the car's swing-axle suspension made it prone to dangerous oversteer and rollovers, particularly if drivers didn't maintain proper tire pressure. Now, was he right? Sort of. Early Corvairs did have handling quirks, but Chevrolet had already addressed most of them by 1964. Unfortunately, the damage was done. Nader's book sent shockwaves through the industry, and the Corvair became a scapegoat for everything wrong with car safety. Sales nosedived, and GM found itself in a PR nightmare. The publication of Unsafe at Any Speed didn't just damage the Corvair, it set off a media firestorm. News outlets ran sensationalized headlines, and suddenly everyone had an opinion about car safety. Evening news segments featured dramatic footage of Corvairs skidding on test tracks, adding fuel to the fire. GM's PR team scrambled to defend the car, even commissioning its own studies to refute Nader's claims, but by then, the public's perception was poisoned. It didn't help that GM made some questionable choices. Instead of focusing on fixing the Corvair's image, they tried to discredit Ralph Nader. Private investigators were allegedly hired to dig up dirt on him, but the plan backfired spectacularly, making GM look like a corporate bully. Despite its struggles, the Corvair soldiered on for a few more years, but by 1969 it had run out. The competition was fierce, and GM had bigger fish to fry, like the Chevrolet Camaro. Now here's a thought that might blow your mind. The Chevy Corvair could have been the car to save General Motors from the financial troubles it faced decades later. If the Corvair had succeeded and sparked a revolution in compact, innovative cars, GM might have established itself as a global leader in small car design, giving it a stronger foothold against foreign competitors like Volkswagen and Toyota. Instead, the failure of the Corvair left GM playing catch-up in a market that grew increasingly competitive. So, was the Corvair's fall just bad timing, or did it represent a missed opportunity that reshaped GM's future in ways no one saw coming? Let us know what you think in the comments. Loving this tale of innovation and controversy? Smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into automotive history. And hey, share this video with a friend who loves quirky cars. Now, do you think the Corvair could have been a game changer if it had launched in a different era? Here's the thing, time has been kinder to the Corvair than anyone expected. Later studies, including one by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, found the car wasn't any more dangerous than its peers. Turns out Nader might have been overblowing things a bit. Today, the Corvair is a cult classic. Collectors love it for its quirky design, innovative engineering, and the sheer underdog spirit it represents. Prices for a well-maintained Monza Spider or Corsa can range from $20,000 to $40,000. And if you stumble across a rare Genko Stinger, a race-modified Corvair, you're looking at six figures. Only about 100 were ever made, and if you're lucky enough to find one at auction, you're looking at a price tag north of $150,000. Not bad for a car that once got roasted by an entire nation. The Corvair's collector market has exploded in recent years. While the base models are relatively affordable, the rare performance versions like the Corsa or turbocharged Monzas fetch top dollar. The Chevy Corvair wasn't perfect, but it was brave. It dared to be different in a world that wanted the same old thing. Sure, it got knocked down, but it's still remembered, arguably more than many of its safer competitors. So here's to the Corvair, proof that even mistakes can leave a lasting legacy. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, give it a thumbs up if you like the video, and please make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss our next episode in the Muscle Car Vault. Until next time, keep your engines running and your tire pressure perfectly balanced. Also, you must check out our previous videos like the classic muscle versus modern muscle in epic battle. You surely won't regret watching them.